Star Wars 7x7 episode 2212. Last day talking about the Doctor Aphra audio drama, and I'm going to talk about what I felt was the best element of the audio drama, which, by some strange coincidence, is not actually at all part of the comic series on which it's based. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So we are going to go into full spoiler territory on the Doctor Aphra audio drama, and I'm going to draw a line as best I can so that way I don't reveal plot, I don't spoil the details of the story as it rolls along, but there is an element to the Doctor Aphra audio drama that's threaded throughout the whole story, and it's really awesome, and I think it's my favorite part of the whole story, and I wanted to talk about it with you. So here's the thing. The Doctor Aphra parts of the initial Darth Vader series, all 25 issues of it, right? And also the half dozen or so issues of the flagship Star Wars series where Aphra, plays a role. If you just did the Dr. Aphra stuff from those issues, it actually wouldn't fill out the 6 hours plus that the audio drama takes. In fact, it would probably be a good chunk less. And so there have been a lot of additions. For example, the Maz Kanata scene that happens in the beginning of the story, that excerpt was published on StarWars.com, and that is a prologue that leads right into us meeting Dr. Aphra in the Darth Vader comic series. Then there are additional ruminations and reflections on the events happening that are given to Aphra as we go throughout, so we get to learn more about what she was thinking and what she was deciding at various times in the storytelling. There are also extended scenes where we get to hear stuff from, say, 000, who is the evil C-3PO protocol droid, and extra lines from him are great fun. But the thing that is particularly remarkable about the Dr. Aphra audio drama is the weaving in of Aphra's time at university when she was learning about, xenoarchaeology and working toward getting her doctorate degree. And we get little flashes of that backstory interspersed with the rest of the narrative, of the rest of the Darth Vader series narrative, and also the Star Wars comics, right? So as the narrative we know is progressing along, it's interwoven with these additional stories from Dr. Aphra's history. And one of those stories, and multiple segments of that story, prominently focuses on her relationship with Sana Starros. Now, it's already been established that Sana and Aphra have a romantic history, and there are bits and pieces revealed about that in the Dr. Aphra comic series, the first series that concluded just at the end of 2019. And now there's a second series that was supposed to debut earlier this year, and it's finally gotten started again. But the first time that it was actually hinted at, basically, was in those few issues of Star Wars where Aphra crossed over because she had been captured. And I'll try to stop there as far as not telling you, much of the actual plot, so that way I don't spoil that much for you. But for our purposes, I will say that there is a moment between Princess Leia and Sana Starros where Leia says, so you and Aphra, and Sana says, don't even ask me about this. No, don't even. And she starts to say, well, and Sana is like, no, just do not. And shuts Leia down completely about it. So it turns out that Sana Starros was actually attending the same university and in the same program as Aphra when they were in college together. They were both getting their doctorates. And that's where their relationship began. And it was a very committed one, to the point where Aphra, I guess, for all intents and purposes, got scared. And because of the bad things that happened to her early on in her life, she decided that it was making her weak being with Sana. And so she left without a word, and it did not go well at all. And so obviously Sana carried a grudge, and when they met later in life, which was at this particular prison where she had been captured and imprisoned, Aphra had, that's where, you know, all the bad blood is ultimately revealed. But here's the thing. Here is why I feel like this is one of the best parts of the audio drama. If you read the comics, you have no idea that this backstory exists, right? There's just one hint that they knew each other and that there may have been something going on between them, but that's it. The audio drama does such a wonderful job of weaving that story and of building it over the course of events, basically, because it's being told to you piece by piece as the rest of Aphra's exploits with Vader are being revealed. But for me, as I was listening to the audio drama, I knew the Vader story and I knew how Aphra was involved with him, but the way that the audio drama was told, this, for me, really became more about the formative relationship between Aphra and Sana Starros. The fact that their experience together had been so strong and so powerful that ultimately, when they came across each other years later, they would be both in very different places, reacting to each other very differently. And yet, at least from Aphra's side of the house, she is still very conflicted about how she feels about Sana, even though Sana has apparently moved on and is very committed to the idea of having moved on. So this is actually making me want to dive into the Aphra comics. Not that I haven't wanted to, it's just one of those things where, gosh, there's only so much time in a day and a week and a month and a year. And yet, knowing that this story is percolating underneath the surface of everything, I want to know more about it. And I feel like the story was really more about Aphra and Sana, and that the storytelling of Aphra and Sana's backstory leading up to them finally seeing each other for the first time in many years, that to me felt like it was ultimately the main story of the audio drama, not all the stuff that she was doing with Vader. And I thought that was a fantastic twist. And so that's the thing that I would say, you know, I highly recommend about the Aphra story, because it was just done so well. And so there you go. That's what I've got to say about the Aphra and Sana storyline from the Aphra audio drama. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show as well. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.